Welcome UMA students, respected classmates, and of course, Professor Redsloff. Welcome to Drones in Their Future, where we are with them and what their future holds, a presentation created by Group Red, Professional Writing, Fall 2017. Let me bring you back to the history of drones and their uses. The U.S. military has used unnamed aircrafts by remote control since the 1930s. In the First World War, drones were used to carry bombs. In the early 2000s, the CIA began using drones for surveillance. In February of 2002, the CIA operated its first armed attack with drones. This was a kill mission, and it was aside from the U.S. military. Current standing with drones. In 2012, the U.S. government passed the FAA, the Modernization and Reform Act. This placed a time frame on the FAA to create legislation to integrate drone use into normal civilian life. The Federal Activation Administration, or the FAA, began implementing drone regulation in 2015. Although the first regulations did not include drone use being an invasion of privacy. After the initial backlash from the first draft of the legislation, President Obama created and issued a presidential memorandum on the issue to all department heads. The current standing with drones and their cost to the average citizen and business owner. Drones do range in price, but they are rather expensive. Some can even be controlled by just an ordinary smartphone. The average drone has multiple downward-facing rotors that allow hovering and descent. Drones can be modified in several ways to meet the needs of multiple fields, such as agriculture, with the seed dispensing and spraying of crops, media with cameras and lights, and delivery service. The private use of drones. The private use of drones includes their use by the U.S. citizens and commercial entities. Companies such as Google, National Geographic, and Amazon have begun using drones for both media and delivery purposes. Private pilots that are American citizens. Commercially available drones are capable of high-end audio and video recording technology, first-person control, and GPS technology. The opportunity of citizen drone use brings with it many possible concerns. Here are some that we have. Invasion of privacy, even if it's accidental. What is the threshold for illegal piloting of a drone? The possibility of interfacing with public services, and the possibility of interfering with personal or commercial aircrafts. Private business use. Personal businesses have begun to utilize drones in their routine workings, such as package delivery, construction, insurance risk assessment, storm tracking, and mapping and surveying. There's no current legislative restrictions in terms of commercial use. However, the restrictions for private pilots would still broadly apply. Potential cons of private business use of drones. Drones in general have susceptibility of being hacked. An immediate concern of the use of drones in private sector is the possible violations of our Fourth Amendment rights. What are some of the possible cause and effects that could happen? What forms of customer information are acceptable to be shared and acted upon? What heavily commercial drone use in residential area, and how will that affect real estate pricing? The public service use. Drones have been implemented in firefighting procedures, such as putting out forest fires where it would be much too hot or dangerous for a person to attend to that fire, search and rescue missions, and law enforcement procedures. A recent experiment showed a drone searching for a drowning swimmer was able to locate them 4 minutes before a lifeguard team. Use of drones in law enforcement in the U.S. has been met with resistance, as it gives the possibility for quite a bit of force in surveillance. Should law enforcement be able to use drones in everyday practices? Public use. Drones have many possible uses in research fields, including water monitoring, landscape surveying, geology, and wildlife management. In February of 2017, a large group of citizen scientists used drones on a mass scale to survey areas with oversized king tides due to an El Nino. I know I wouldn't want to be out there. Future legislation and actions. We propose, as Group Red, short-term restrictions to start with in the form of single-use and short-term permits. So if you're going to be using a drone to take pictures of wildlife, then you would get a short-term permit to use it for that purpose during a certain time. For business and recreation, on how many drones a company can operate at once, along with private use restrictions. These are to allow for flexibility and use while limiting possible abuse of drones. To create long-term plans, a committee should be formed to evaluate ethics around the proper use of drones. At the same time as the committee, there should be a national effort to fund research on drone use in the United States so we can see the effects that it's truly having. Hold forums and periods of public commitment to gather information on public viewpoint of drone use. By combating the findings of the committee, public outreach, and research done on drone use, there should be a significant amount of data that we can make conclusions from. In conclusion, in general, drones bring with them many positives and many negatives as well. Although drone use is becoming more widespread, we feel that further research and ethical understanding is very much required. With proper data and ethical understanding, we can move towards acceptable drone use here in our society. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video and found it informative. Have a wonderful rest of the day.